I think it's very safe to say that I am a fan of Pokemon, like, fan of Pokemon for sure. And I was thinking the other day, I was going looking through all the stuff I did Pokemon in the back, and I saw that I did a full 1 through 9 generation ranking of every Pokemon ever. What was I thinking? Anyway, not that what I was thinking was bad, but why do it all in one when I don't have time to generally think about each generation properly? So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go through each generation one by one again and rank Pokemon based off my personal preferences of how much I enjoy them, if I think they're cool, do I think they have a cool battle style, my personal opinion and ranking. Now, I'm going to try to keep it very brief, not so much to where I'm going to rush through it, just so I don't want to just keep rambling and rambling to where it becomes unnecessarily and too much to talk about. Just sweet and simple, my opinions on it, move on for the rest. Because I'll be honest, a lot of these things I'm going to have not much to say about. We're going to be starting with, of course, with Generation 1. So let's kick things off with the Pokemon of the hour. The first Pokemon, actually, Bulbasaur. I think when it comes to creating a grass starter, you can't go wrong with Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur is very iconic, very well known, and I like it pretty much. So much so, I would say it's pretty epic. Now we get the Ivysaur. While I don't necessarily have anything negative towards Ivysaur, it's nothing special, but I still think it's one of the cool ones. I like it when I see it in Smash, so it definitely gets a bonus for Smash Brothers for sure. When we get to Venusaur, Venusaur is just a cooler looking Ivysaur. No disrespect to Ivysaur. This thing's just a cooler Ivysaur. Big frog with the plant. Come on, who can't like that? I like the Venusaur. It's pretty cool. Charmander. Charmander is every Gen 1er's favorite Pokemon. They like the Charmander because it turns into the dragon. Now, some people might find the line a bit overrated, and why I can kind of see where they're coming from. Charmander is still, pretty cool. Charmeleon, this is how you do a middle stage. Something that later in generations we'll find out the middle stage evolutions aren't the greatest. Charizard, while yes, like I was talking about, people might find him a bit overrated. And sure, he's still pretty cool though. He's still pretty cool at the end of the day. So you gotta give its flowers for why it's so popular. Squirtle. Squirtle originally was my favorite of the starters when I first played Generation 1, when I was a little lad. I thought the turtle looked pretty cool, and then I saw it got cannons, and I said, yo, that's awesome. And I still stick by it. While I do think Bulbasaur is probably a bit more my favorite now, I still can't argue that Squirtle is really exciting, really cool. War Turtle. Kind of around the same spot as Ivysaur, to where it's good, I have no complaints with it, but that's about it. Blastoise, I personally think this is just on par with Charizard, and we love Blastoise. Next one we get to the first wave of Bugmons, and we'll find out, especially, maybe not so Gen 1, but we'll find out a lot that Bug Pokemon tend to all rely on, yep, that's a Pokemon. To where it's a bug Pokemon, I neither hate it or like it, so it's kind of there. Same thing with its friend Metapod, Butterfree. Butterfree is definitely a step up, I would say. Nothing fancy, but definitely a step up to justify it being in B tier. It's one of the better bug flying mons that we will see in this game. I don't care for this thing. I don't know if it's just because of the way how it looks, or just because every time I play the game and it does poison sting, I somehow always get poisoned, and it's kind of annoying. And beside that, I usually never use a Weedle or any of the evolution lines on my team. Kakuna is on the same par with Metapod. It's pretty much the same thing. Beedrill. I'll give Beedrill some love. It deserves its spot in the higher parts of C. It's a good mon. Not much else I can say about it. Next up we got Pidgey. The first of many of our early route birds. It did its job, so it gets to chill with Beedrill over at C tier. Next we go to Pidgeotto. Pidgeotto is just Pidgey that grew up and got some hair. Next up, we have Pidgeot. Now, Pidgeot, I always remember when the first few times I played this generation, I would always use a Pidgey, suffer through that part, get to Pidgeotto, finally start getting some action with it, and then once I got to Pidgeot, this is where the fun starts to come for sure. Definitely a bird that I enjoyed using during my playthrough, and because of that, I think it'll sit at the very top of B tier. Next we get to Rectata. This little rodent, nothing crazy, somewhat annoying when it comes to the game, but it's nothing on him. There's not much early mons you can use at this time. Raticate, while yes, it is better kind of when it comes to stat-wise and how overall well you can use it, I'm going to end up putting it just one spot below it, just because, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Spearow. This is just the weaker version of Pidgey. If you're going to use a bird, use Pidgey. Do not use Spearow or Fearow. They are both kind of Ekans. Ekans is a snake, spelled backwards. I don't know why. I thought that was really cool as a kid for whatever reason. And because of it, I kind of like it because of it. It is just snake backwards. My brain really liked that. Arbok. Arbok is cool. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. I think Arbok is just cool. He's cool. It's cool. Arbok's cool. Then we get to Pikachu, the mascot of the company. Like, Pokemon wouldn't be where it is without Pikachu. Whether you like the mod or not, anytime you see the word resembling or anything resembling Pokemon, this is one of the first Pokemon you think of. And because of that, it does its job really well, so I think it makes and joins his way into A tier. Raichu, on the other hand, I really don't care about. I'm sorry. Sandshrew. I always liked this little guy, especially later on when we get into his next line, Sandslash. I always enjoyed using Sandslash on my team when it comes to just the different types of mon I can use. I like that the little, almost kind of like porcupine hedgehog thing. It was really cool. Then we get to the Nidorans. Everything pretty much beside the final two for both Nidoking and Nidoqueen are all about the same. I kind of don't care about them. Actually, I actually don't care for male Nidorino. For whatever reason, it just rubs me the wrong way. But thankfully enough, we get a Moonstone early on, and we'll be able to get both Nidoking and Nidoqueen. Both are pretty exciting mons and very fun to use. For whatever reason, I just like the color scheme of Nidoking a bit more. So because of that, I will put that one in A tier, and I'll put Nidoqueen I'll put it behind Pidgeot. Both are very good. I just like the colors, and I kind of like for whatever reason, I like the spiky ears on Nidoking. Clefairy. Clefairy's neat. It's an alright Pokemon. Clefable, it's pretty much the same thing. It's neat. That's all I can say. Vulpix. I've grown a lot on Vulpix over the years to where I didn't really care for it as much because I always thought, oh, if I want a fire type, I use Arcanine. Then I was able to use a Vulpix and a Ninetales, and I really enjoyed my time with it, and I think Vulpix is a very nice looking mon, and then it evolves. I originally couldn't get behind it, but later on I was able to kind of like understand it a bit more, if that makes sense. Ninetales has definitely grown on me to where I think it actually deserves a high B tier spot, where originally I wouldn't care for it. Jigglypuff is a weird case for me, because on one hand, I think it's a cute little round ball Pokemon, which reminds me of Kirby, which is cool and all, but at the same time, it scars me because of Smash Brothers. So because of it, you have to sit neutral. As for Wigglytuff, I never really got to use Wigglytuff or get anything strong towards it, so I would put it around the same thing as around the Clefables and the Clefairies. Zubat is kind of annoying. Yeah, that's about it. Kind of the same thing with Golbat. Like, it's there, I guess. Oddish. Oddish is a cute little fella, that's for sure. For whatever reason, I really liked its walk animation from when I've seen it in, like, a lot of the newer games. For whatever reason, I thought it was just a cute little fella. So, it can deserve a nice spot to Wartortle. Gloom, on the other hand, I don't know why. Why? Luckily, Vileplume really redeems itself. It being kind of similar on the idea with a Venusaur, to where on the top it's just a giant flower. But, I don't know, I like it. I surprisingly like the idea of it just a flower being on a little blue guy. A bit more funny and enjoyable. So, we'll let it chill right up here, just a bit ahead. Paris and Parasect, on the other hand, They can both have fun in F tier. I I can't say anything nice about these ones. If these are your favorite Pokemons, go to a doctor and get yourself checked out. Venonat. Venonat is around the same line as the other Bugmons, to where I couldn't really care about it, but I don't hate it. Kind of the same thing with Venomoth. It's a bit cooler, but that's about it. Diglett. Diglett is just a little guy who likes peeking up his head and kind of trolling people. Kind of have to respect that. Dugtrio is just a bunch of guys that do the exact same thing. Meowth. I always thought, especially playing the games, that Meowth was kind of cool. And then I watched the anime and I saw this thing talks. And this thing just always cracked me up. For the game slate alone, he would probably be a B, but because of the anime kind of having a bit of effect on me, he's going to join Pikachu right in A tier. 100%. Persian. There's a reason Meowth in the anime never evolved, because Persian is just kind of boring. So it can have fun in D tier. Psyduck. I always thought Psyduck was a fun lad. He was there for the ride, whether he doesn't know what's happening, but he's there for the ride and he's gonna have a fun time with it. So he's gonna chill with us right up here next to Pidgeot. Golduck. Golduck originally creeped me out with its fins and everything, the flippers or whatever it is. It really freaked me out as a kid, but later on I didn't really care for it as much, so he's just kind of there. Mankey. Mankey, Monkey, whatever you want to call it, it's aight. C tier. Primeape. Primeape's pretty cool. I feel like Primeape might not get some love for what it is. I think Primeape is pretty cool, this angry little pig monkey thing. It's kind of cool. So it's there. Growlithe. Growlithe is a really cute fire puppy dog. Growlithe can chill with Vulpix. Arcanine, same thing as I was talking about with Ninetales, but I liked Arcanine from the start. Arcanine is really cool indeed. Poliwag. Poliwag's a cute little fella. Poliwhirl. I cannot explain why for the life of me I like Poliwhirl so much. It's just a thing where I just saw this little guy, and I'm like, yeah, he's special. So much so, Poliwhirl's gonna chill right above Pikachu, just for a statement. Poliwrath, on the other hand, Abras are an interesting thing. While I like the Mons leading up to Abra in the evolutionary stage, Abra kind of pisses me off just from the point that it is so difficult to attain, because anytime you run into an Abra in any game, the first thing and the only thing it's doing is teleporting. So if you don't get the Pokeball on your first try, it's gone. You have to find another one. Granted, it's not the most insane thing to catch, but still. While it would have been higher, it's gonna just chill right here. Kadabra was my almost second starter when I played the original Red and Blue. Back when I didn't know how to trade, and I thought Abra was only a 2-stage evolution. I thought Kadabra was so cool, it was so strong, it powered through almost every gym I got stuck with. And I don't know why, I think the idea of him holding a spoon was kind of funny, but kind of cool. I B tier. Then I found out you can get something stronger than a Kadabra, which is Alakazam. I don't think I can describe how excited I was when I found out Kadabra could evolve. So when me and my friend did the trade and I got to see Alakazam, I was already mind blown, because the present was perfect for evolution. The mustache grew. He got an additional spoon. I was happy about that. Then I saw how strong he was, and I thought, wow, this guy is awesome. And he always stayed awesome. I've always enjoyed using an Alakazam anytime I get. I think every time I see him in a game, in the anime, or anything outside of Pokemon, I just almost kind of like am so happy that he is as powerful as he is. So much so, they had to nerf him. But he ain't nerfed in this ranking. He is the first S tier. Machop is just a little blue man that likes to punch things, in my opinion. While there's nothing wrong with that, it's nothing special for me. So he can chill right next to Jigglypuff. Machoke is very interesting for me. On paper, I should like this. Little blue man, grows stronger, gains more muscles, and has a championship belt. That's pretty cool, right? I'm sorry, for whatever reason, I just can't get behind Machoke. So much so, I think it barely hangs on to C tier. But Champion, on the other hand, hey, baby. Champ's awesome. I can't really like think of like much to say beside the idea of just a four-arm punching machine. Is just so funny to me, and I always love using him in any Pokemon game I get the chance to. Burspout, kind of kind of a fun lad. I think this might be funny to say that he is a fun lad and he knows how to have a fun time. Bell's also kind of a fun guy. He's not as fun as Bellsprout, I think, but still very very cool, very fun guy that he can chill. He'll chill next to Oddish and them. Victory Bell, unfortunately, is like one of the sole reasons I never see myself using a Bellsprout line. I don't care for its final stage whatsoever. Victory Bell is probably one of the bigger disappointing ends to a Pokemon line, and it's kind of sad. But unfortunately, because of design alone, unfortunately, it's stuck in D tier. Very sad, but is what it is. Tentacool. Tentacool is a funny squid that reminds me of Squidward. That is both not really a negative nor a positive. It is just a blue squid like Squidward. Tentacruel. It is a blue squid like Squidward. Geodude. Geodude's a cool little rock guy. He's a cool little rock guy for sure. Nothing crazy, but I like him. He's chilling with Ekans. Growlithe, on the other hand, I think it's just ugly. I'm sorry if that seems a bit rude, but I just don't care for him. Golem, on the other hand, is kind of in the same spot where I really don't care for it, but it is better than Graveler, so Golem can chill in C tier, I would say. I'm just not really fond of Golem, that's for sure. Ponyta. Ponyta is a very cool mon. I like the idea of the Fire Horse. I think it's executed very well, especially for Gen 1. I think it does a really good job. Pretty much all these, you can't go wrong with any of these base forms of these fire trios right here. I think all of them have a great baseline, and I think it chills. I would say this is probably the order for them. I think Rapidash is the weakest of the final stages, but just not by a lot though. It's still a very nice Pokemon for sure. Slowpoke. Slowpoke is chill, and because of that, he could chill up in A tier. And we think Slowpoke is chill. What about Slowbro? Heck yeah, Slowbro is hella chill, that's for sure. Magnemite. It is 1 magnet. Magneton. It is 3 Magnemites stuck together. Farfetch'd. Now, this might sound a bit far-fetched. No, please don't leave, please! Farfetch'd, I think, is a really cool mon that I don't think gets the credit it deserves. I think it's just really chill, and I don't think it gets, or I don't think it gets love. I think it gets a bit too much hate for just being chill, being there for the fun. So I'm gonna put it right up here in B tier. Doduo. Doduo, I would say, is a pretty good mon. It's definitely, I think, a bit better than Pidgey's base form. So it's the best base bird, probably out of Generation 1, for sure. And I think it's pretty cool. I like the idea of the 2 heads. That's pretty cool. Dodrio. I do think Pidgeot still is the better overall bird, so I would put it right up there at the top of B-Till still. Spheal. It is a seal. Dugong. It is a seal, but bigger. Grimer. It is Purple Sludge. It's supposed to represent poison, which, honestly, if you're going to represent a poison type, why not just be an actual Purple Sludge? So, while I don't care for it, I respect that they just were openly committed to a Purple Sludge, so I kind of have to think that's kind of baller of them. Mucky, on the other hand, is the exact same thing. While, realistically, it should be here, I think it's lazy, so I'm going to put it below a bit. Shelder. Shelder is kind of on the urge of being boring, but it's not quite boring. Cloyster. Cloyster, in my opinion, is boring. I don't think of anything. I think it hides in its shell. That's about it. Oh, and it looks like Ghastly. Heck yeah. This is a ghost Pokemon. Yeah, no shit. I like the idea of just a black ball orb with this purpley fire, like, aura around it. I think it's pretty cool. I like Ghastly. Ghastly's chill. Like that. Haunter, on the other hand. Heck yeah, Haunter. That's what we're talking about. Look at this possessive ghost thing. That dude's awesome. He's awesome. He's so cool. But we got somebody even cooler than Haunter. I know, right? Gengar. Heck yeah, we got Gengar. Gengar is my favorite Mon from Generation 1, and probably might be my favorite ghost types in all of Pokemon, which is cool. I like this purple guy. He's so awesome. He's so cool. I think the way he's presented in almost any game or any like thing he can do, from merchandising to his forms, all that, he's awesome. He kicks ass. So Gengar is S tier, 100%. Onix. Onix, for whatever reason, went from like a I don't care about this Mon to somewhat of a kind of like I kind of am so chill with this Rock Snake for whatever reason. Like, yeah, is he good? No, he is not good in any of the games, defensively, offensively. I don't know. I like the Rock Snake. He's kind of chill. Is it because of the anime? Maybe. He's not really used in it. I don't know why I like him a lot nowadays. You know who I do not like, though? This line. Y'all are creepy. No thank you. Krabby, you are a crab. Kingler, you are a crab. Like, it's the same thing with like the seal line, to where, okay, I get it. You're trying to represent an animal. Voltorb and Electrode. These are basically the same Mon. I think I'm just convinced that you just flip it upside down and it's the same thing. But I don't know. I kind of rock with the ball for whatever reason. So top of C tier. Execute. Execute does not remind me of a Pokemon for whatever reason. It reminds me of eggs, which I want to eat in the morning because eggs are delicious. But beside that, yeah, there's not really much I can say about it. Executor. These guys are kind of chill, and I think they might be a bit more chilled out than everyone else. But beside that, they cool, I guess. Cubone's whole gimmick is that it lost its mother. While, yes, I feel for him, or her, or I feel for them, there's not much else I can, like, really give them. Like, cool. That's about it. Marowak. Marowak is kind of cool, I guess, but nothing crazy. Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. Both Mons, I think, are very cool and very liked and respected for a lot of reasons. Whether you're a Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, if you like one more or the other, that's totally fine. I think both are awesome. But objectively, Hitmonlee is better, and I'm tired of people saying it's Hitmonchan. Hitmonlee, it's so cool. I'm kidding. Hitmonchan's also really cool, too. He's like B tier, too. Lickitung. I'm good. Thank you. I always have to remember if it's either coughing or wheezing, but I remember either reading something or watching something to where how they're supposed to apparently represent, like, New York and California. I don't know why. I thought that was so funny. Finding that, I don't even know if it's true, but ever since then, I just every time I see them, I just think they're kind of funny. So they kind of could chill a bit towards the top. I'd put them in actually in the top of C tier just because of that. Rhyhorn I thought was a really cool like design Mon, especially for back then in Gen 1, to where a lot of the Mons are very basic. I like the almost kind of like rock metal-y kind of like Rhino that you could like ride on and right on. I wasn't even trying to make that joke. Plus, I think design-wise, it's pretty cool, actually. Especially for, like, ground types. Especially early on in this game, there are not that many that especially have a good look to them. Rhyhorn, I think, has a really good look, both visually and fun to use in the game. Rhydon, beside the funny name, is around the same line, I would say. A bit, probably just, like, one stage above, I would say. Still very good Mons, both of them. Very good, I would say. Chansey. I be honest, I couldn't care or get anything to say about Chansey if I didn't watch the anime. Watching the anime, and I've seen Chansey in all like the Pokemon centers, the whole like Pokedex of how it carries the egg as if it was like a children that can help it heal itself and heal others. I thought that's very cool, and I was kind of consider this being like one of like the mom Pokemons, and I grew a kind of liking to it. B tier. Tangela. It's spaghetti. It's blue spaghetti. Right there. Kangaskhan. Literally the mother Pokemon. But for whatever reason, I like Chansey a bit more. Horsey is a cool little seahorse that I thought was really cute when I first played this game. So much so that I was excited to see what it evolved into. I was disappointed. Goldeen, talk about a boring fish. And then I saw Sea King, and it just got a bit more ugly. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Staryu and Starmie, or is it the other way around? Anyway, both are pretty cool. I like how in kind of like the games a bit, but especially more in the anime, they kind of act as like boomerangs. They can spin like shurikens, but they also spin back like boomerangs. I like that little kind of like theming and gimmick for them. I thought that was pretty cool. I think Staryu is a bit on the lower end, and I kind of like Starmie a bit better with the additional arms, legs, and the red gem in the middle. I think that's pretty cool. I'll put it right there. And both in B tier. Mr. Mime has a weird look to it for sure. But for whatever reason, I only think of like him in the anime trying to hit on Ash. Not hit, but definitely get with Ash's mom. And for whatever reason, what he does in Legends Arc is how he just barriers you, like if you try to walk to him. Kind of funny, kind of creepy, but I think he slides his way. Scyther. Scyther's so cool. Scyther's really cool. I really dig this bug with these like sharp points. I mean, it's the whole thing. He scythes and he cuts stuff. That's so cool. Beside that, I think Scyther's really cool both visually and I enjoyed using him in almost any game I can. Scyther's really cool for sure. Jinx. Stay away from me, please. Electabuzz. Electabuzz is kind of the electric type I always forget is in this generation. Kind of there and kind of forgettable, unfortunately. Magmar is kind of the same thing, unfortunately, to where they're just kind of there and kind of forgettable for me. Pinsir. Pinsir is really cool, too. He's not on par with Scyther, I would say. Like, Scyther does have a bit of a grudge above him, but I think Pinsir is still really cool, and he deserves a B tier for sure. Tauros is kind of a simple mon, like, based off like a simple animal, but for whatever reason, this one just works for whatever reason. It's a bowl. That's cool. Magikarp, for as useless as it is, it definitely has won my heart. Gyarados. Gyarados is awesome. It's one of those things where I kind of don't need to explain it. It's visually it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Leave it. Lapras. If there was a award for Pokemon that I really enjoyed, and within a year period went from really enjoyed to this is like an absolute, like, I think awesome and majestic Pokemon, I think that reward would go to Lapras. It'd be a cool mon to like surf together on the beach, just like in the games and everything. And I don't know, I've always enjoyed using Lapras. I always thought it was a very, like, kind of just like very like visually unique and majestic at the same time in a way, which is very nice. So much so that I'm gonna make a bold decision. I'm gonna put Lapras in S tier, actually. Ditto. The whole gimmick is it can be whatever you want, and I think that is an amazing gimmick, and I wish it could be used more. Eevee. Eevee is the ideal pet Pokemon, and it works. It's very cute, adorable, fluffy, all that jazz. It works. It gets the job done. A tier. Then we get to the evolutions. We have Vaporeon, who I really enjoyed, and I still enjoy. I'm going to put it in A tier, regardless of what anybody says to me or whatever the internet tells me. Jolteon. Jolteon is probably my favorite Eevee evolution of the trio, and probably either my favorite or my second favorite out of all evolutions. I like the electric dog. I think it's very cool. I think it's both visually awesome. I've liked what I've been able to use with it in both games, seeing it in the anime. I've really enjoyed the Jolteon, and I even have a plush of it. Flareon. Flareon, I think, is the weakest of the trio for sure, and it kind of stings, because I believe this was the first of the evolutions I ever used. So because of it, I can't hate on it, but at the same time, I don't have any strong feelings towards it. Porygon. Porygon is very interesting for me. I still, to this day, for whatever reason, don't understand the origin of Porygon. I don't know if it's just me not paying attention to what it's talking about, but it also at the same time, it's also Pokemon blaming Porygon for no reason at all. It's not Porygon's fault. Ammonite and Omastar. Don't care about. I don't care about any of these, unfortunately. They're probably chilling at the very bottom of C. I just couldn't care about them. Kabutoss. I think that's how I'm pronouncing it. If not, I'm sorry. This one's kind of the same thing. I don't care about you. Wutos, on the other hand, I think it's pretty cool. I think this is the fossil you should get. If you don't want Aerodactyl, of course. Aerodactyl's so cool! Snorlax. Snorlax is iconic for a reason. I would gush over about how iconic and how cool Snorlax is, but then this video would be a lot longer than it needs to be. Snorlax is pretty awesome. Now we get to the legendary birds. Legendary birds, I feel about the same with them. Like, I don't really find one better than the other. I like Zapdos a bit better. But I don't hate the other ones. Like, they're all about the same. Like, nothing crazy special about them, but yeah, I like them. Zapdos is a bit better than Articuno, then Moltres, probably in that order. Dratini. Dratini is a cool little, kind of like, worm thing, which I think is pretty cool. Dragonair. Dragonair is really cool. I like what they did and how they just made it more kind of like... I don't know how to really describe it. I just like it better for whatever reason. A tier. Then we get a Dragonite. Dragonite is Dragonite and iconic for a reason, because Dragonite is cool. He's iconic and cool for a reason, and because of that, you can chill right here in A tier. And then we get to the final two, the mythics and the mythical and the legendary of the generation, Mewtwo and Mew. Mewtwo, of course, being the more stronger one known, both present and kind of based off design too. He's more based off a threat. I think they did a good job of making the first legendary. He's iconic for a reason. Everybody knows him, or everybody knows what Mewtwo brings to the table and everything like that. So I think it chills at B tier. Mew, on the other hand, is a prankster, and he likes to troll people. And I don't know about you, I think that's kind of funny and awesome. So Mew can chill in A tier. So yeah, that is the tier list of Gen 1. And there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of me ranking all the Pokemon from Generation 1. If you like more of the Pokemon stuff and you're not totally bored with me yet, you can show over here and watch some more Pokemon I've done. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Omega Ruby lately. Also, if you enjoyed the content, you want to see more, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that, all that jazz. It's free, yada, 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 yada. Helps me put imaginary food for this guy. I want to thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.